And hey there.
Train if you feel like it.
You tell the druid that the knight doesn't the druid size.
I could have expected that. Well, when you see him, you're not looking at a knight cursed by the weirdness. Nothing like that. What you see is a poor child. He's the son of a warrior who came to Avalon to serve Arthur's cause. In truth, he came here to serve his own cause. War breeds such people. Or perhaps, I should say, war gives them an environment in which this man, this horrible man, had a son. He always took him to battle and treated him like with whatever it wanted. At first, it was treats and trinkets. Then the son. Soon, there was no innocence left in this child at all. Instead, only gluttony and lust for all things morbid, and nobody dared to disobey.
Oh no.
Then, the weirdness came. Its ways, sometimes they are poetic, sometimes quite literal. It mistook the child's need for fatherly attention for gluttony.
Oh.
Yes, you're probably among the first to ever dismiss his wish. But since even this didn't work, I'm out of options. I have no idea. Thank you. I hope you'll come.
You're back.
The Master-at-Arms listens intently to what you have to say about the sizable knight.
Well, from what you're saying, this boy doesn't need more food, or to be experimented on by some druid. He needs a father. I'm too old to take care of this myself, but my friend, I'm sure he'll be able to help figure out what to do with this.
The Wanderer listens.
You can count on me. I'll find this poor boy and do everything I can to help him out. And I already have an idea. You see, by breaking my friend out of that accursed brooch, you've made it possible for me to enter it. This, in turn, gives me an idea. You say the boy needs responsibility.
Oh.
Well, let's give him a responsibility. We'll make him into a guard of this damned brooch in no time. However, since I'll be busy with this, I need to ask. I know there's a man somewhere out there, someone. I taught him a lot, yet it wasn't enough to keep him from throwing his gift away. They threw him into a cell and left him to rot. He's gone by many names over the years, but as real if you find him before I do.
The sizable knight greets you as you approach.
Your friend brought me here and told me to take care of this place. He said it was your idea. My thoughts are clearer, my hunger smaller. I can actually think about something other than my starving body now.
Oh.
Thank you. You're my friend. I'll be filling these cells with the worst people I can find in the world. People like my father. And in case I'm out hunting the scum of the earth.
This Brock is once again a private prison. However, this time...
Come, train if you feel like.
I found a way to help the knight.
You to do, is it?
His tone makes it clear that his intentions weren't... He looks at you with furious anger in his...
Do what you want, but talk with me.
Oh.
The Candlemaker's nightmare.
Okay.
Apparently, he thinks you're Luch. It seems he's unable to see with his eyes, but he definitely feels the light of a candle. You notice that it burns right through his skin. Limbs stretch wildly out of his belly and twist and gyre in desperate motion. He quickly disappears into the shadows. After he's gone, you notice a small pouch left behind on the ground. There's nothing of value inside, but perhaps
Okay.
You show Luch the pouch you found on the ground.
I wasn't sure, but I know whose pouch it is. It belonged to Val. Everyone loved her. She was, but that's all I needed. Now, give me a moment to prepare the surprise.
He disappears into his secret room.
The more I think about this, you see, the more I realize that they weren't bad people. Well, I suppose I can't do any more to avenge them. If only they... but brainwashed.
He comes back holding a
Here. But unfortunately...
Okay. I've got your special card unlocked.
The candle maker.
Also,
I've been to your village.
good one. You must have hurt yourself badly trying that. So, now you know why I can't go to your village. I managed to get out of mine in time, but the side effect of my desertion, of not being in the place I should be, it affects me, too. You can see me, and you can talk to me, but I'm not really here.
What?
And to answer your unspoken question, no, I don't know where my body is. Here, have this. Now you know that there's nothing you can do to help us, but I can help you to spread the light and keep away. It's time for me for now, so who knows? Maybe. What could it be?
That's sad.
He looks at you, surprised and confused. He opens his mouth and you realize that he has no tongue.
What?
He makes a begging gesture. He starts to imitate someone walking with a cane. He begs again. An old man strolls among
No.
the trees, observing the
Oh, hello.
The man seems weird.
Walking is health. Actually, scratch that question. Now that I look at you, I think you're looking for something.
He starts rummaging. He's holding a human tongue in his hand.
Holy hell.
So I guessed right. He wants it back then. Well, that's too bad. Oh, that's just too bad, because I can't give it back. Because nature, my friend, is built upon perfect equilibrium. Who am I to work against it? My collection, in order to be a proper collection, requires a certain amount of items of certain value. I can hand out some things, but my collection can't lose its overall balance. That means I can't just give such a valuable item away or sell it.
Oh.
It would need to be
It can be heard.
exchanged for
Not cleaning the desk. I'm
valuable or
putting some ice in my drink.
You're the one in need, and I'm the only one who can. I want two things. First, I want healing water from the magical fountain.
Sorry.
I'm sure you've seen one by now. And second, I need a fragment of the All-Mother. Good luck.
You stop.
So I will
It
rest
wasn't a
here.
particularly good night. After leaving your room, you're a bit. There's a man saying the same farewells he said before. Another one. Then you see a man sitting in a darkened corner of the tavern.
You're the first new face I've seen in quite a while. You're already figuring out what's going on here, aren't you? A spell? No, I'm no wizard. Just an old crook. And somehow this is the last moment these people, myself included, lived through, before our village was consumed. but it seems like I'm the only one who understands what's happening here. The rest, they're stuck. And they've been stuck for years, it feels like. See for yourself.
He pauses his solitaire game for a moment, and you notice the reality around you slowly changing. People start moving slower. Their skin loses color. Some even show clear signs of decomposition. He starts playing his game again. Everything immediately gets back.
It seems like a reasonable alternative to killing all of my friends, don't you think? You're one of the druids, aren't you? I can feel your power. Tell me, will me friends... That's comforting. Then I suppose after all this time, farewell then.
You watch the same scene unfolding again. People losing color, shriveling into corpses. The place is empty. As you start walking towards the door...
Look, I need to tell you, I didn't expect that.
Before you have a chance
What?
to say anything, the ghost continues.
No, this feels good. I haven't been this full of energy and life since, like, ever. That's a good joke, if I ever heard one. But you know what's best? I can see. One thing I know, for example, is that you have a village you call your... And since fear is the strongest emotion, judging from what you told the goat, then aren't you afraid that without me help,
1 sec.
you won't be able to
This.
continue your quest?
Oh,
No worries. I'll sit
I forgot to turn on my Wi-Fi.
See you there.
Hello.
Oh, you wouldn't believe how glad I am to finally see you.
He points in your direction.
Here are the keywords. Music, war, loss, a powerful item, like a weapon, armor, or shield. Oh, and a family bond. Anything there ring a bell?
Yeah!
Good, because you need to force this damned thing to shut up, and you need to do it quick. I can't hear my own thoughts. Until recently, I was perfectly fine. I was minding my own business here, and then suddenly, it's incomprehensible. It's a bunch of words that sound like a never-ending scream. It's as if a ghost couldn't find peace. And believe me, but this one, this is on a whole nother level. I don't know what you've done, but I'm sure you've done something. Now, turn it back.
You tell him what happened to Braggy and his brother.
Sometimes I'm really worried, you know? It's so...
He sighs after noticing your
That guy died when he left those freaks at the supply wagon. He really didn't want to die, mind you. So his soul got trapped within the spear. His only earthly possession.
Oh.
What did you do then? You gave the spear containing a soul to his brother. Like, what did you expect to happen? Now the ghost you've awoken can see his brother, but he can't, I don't know, talk with him? And he tries, oh my dear, he tries. But the problem is that even though his brother...
You notice that his ghostly presence becomes darker when he gets angry. He tries to
Okay, I don't know. Let's try this. He's a musician. It's a long shot, but it might just work. Go talk, go. Please, do it fast. In me life. Ha! Alive is how I feel now. You know that cards love me, and I love them. Truly and deeply. I'd say they're my true love. And that's definitely something I couldn't say about anyone I've crossed paths. I was born to a peasant woman and a horse boy. Can't say I remember them too. I just can't stand poverty, you know? My own, that is. So I went to town and won some coin. I can't say it was all, you know, fair and square. But it's the result that matters. Well, this allowed me to pretend. or rather to live, the fantasy of, oh, how wrong I was. She was a vicious, treacherous woman, I tell you. The worst part, though, is that Lady Luck wasn't there for me anymore. Serious debts accrue. I needed to run, so I bought myself a berth on the best possible decision, wasn't it?
Yeah, best place.
Of course, it turns out that me luck returned as soon as I ran away from that terrible woman. So gambled with the some of them lost it all the money they brought from the fatherland. And you know, but then reason came to poor old me. In order to avoid temptation of gambling it all. But friend, what is the purpose of all those earthly things? I'm kidding. Yeah, I don't need them anymore. Being a ghost and all that. I'll tell you where to find it. But just promise that you'll play cards with me every time you come back to the village. You swear? Okay, I'll show you. Find me out there, within the weirdness.
Yeah.
We're all here now, thanks to you. But it seems I was wrong. Their presence did. I've been talking with Neith, the seamstress, and she suggested that, but on all of us being free of issues which plague our minds, maybe if you help. Pretty close.
You walk and walk.
I promise we're actually moving.
After an eternity or two, the ghost stops.
Here,
After another eternity spent digging in the ground, your shovel, suddenly a hand bursts through the coffin lid. Then another. She's mostly decomposed, though there's some rotting The corpse opens her eyes. When she sees...
Gunner, you worthless scum! You disgusting, lazy bastard! How dare you leave me, you rotten!
Shut up.
The woman, clearly in shock, falls silent.
I never got the courage to tell you this when I was alive. And now that I'm dead, I don't care. Shut up. Once and for all.
Okay.
You treated me like a piece of horse scrap. Or worse. I did everything I could, and it wasn't enough for you, was it? You know what? I'm happy now. You're gone, and I will never see you again. And I'm happy. And this time, I will be the one to silence you. Not death. I will shut your mouth forever.
Before she has a chance to react, he throws something at her and mumbles a few words in a language you don't recognize. The woman collapses. Her bones scatter, then turn into dust.
He seems quite knowledgeable.
Ha! No, that felt good. Well, I might have exaggerated the treasure-related part of me story. I actually gambled everything away. But you have to admit, that this was priceless.
Well, true.
Oh, come on. You saw for yourself that she was a lovely creature, wasn't she? I have to admit that the weirdness made her even more... Well, that's all I ever wanted out of me afterlife. Now I can die...
Man strolls among the trees, observe.
Oh, hello, one.
The man seems weirdly oblivious.
Walking is healthy.
Here are.
Oh, thank you. That was quicker than I expected. But, well, since we had a deal, here's the tongue you wanted. But aren't you even a little bit curious as to
No,
how
not really.
man actually lost it?
Yeah.
Then I shall spare you this sad story. Go, get him his...
The guardian of this altar respect the noise clamoring in your head.
You're finally here. Good. I have a special task for you. Something it wouldn't look good to tell them that someone decided to abandon their ranks. I need you to find him and get rid of him. Well, that's up to you to figure out. All I can say is that he was invited to a certain ceremony and he didn't show up. and that don't
Well, yeah.
You explain everything you've learned. You expect the bard, however, as instructed, immediately starts working on a new instrument. He hums a joyful tune with a smile on his face. The bard is playing a haunting tune on a new instrument, one that you've never seen before. He's visibly happy.
Can you hear this? My brother's talking to me through his music. He asks me to thank you. And I can't quite understand that part, but he tells me to ask your ghastly friend to forgive him for his behavior. Thank you. You've done more for me than I ever expected or even dared to hope for. I'll gladly join.
Wait a
I'll
second.
bring some joy to your village.
You join as well? So what happens in a tavern?
A lively tavern now stands abandoned. Suddenly, a small man with a red nose approaches, waving bottles of hooch. His smell is one of a kind, a uniquely pungent odor that you can feel coating the inside of your nose. It's a mix of sweat, ale, and piss, with a subtle note of rotten grapes sprinkled on top.
Good.
He looks like a caricature of a dancing fairy, but this fairy happens to be the drunkest, hairiest, and smelliest person
In all Avalon.
Come on, take a sip. Don't be shy. Isn't that wonderful? Let you...
Okay.
You feel the fluid burning down. You have no idea what the swill is, but at least one thing...
Now, we fight. What's the use of...
The
Let me
man
talk to
looks
you.
at with sad eyes. He is still unable. The moment he touches his tongue, something around you changes. It feels as if the world is spinning very fast around you, yet you're still standing in place. You see a boy being beaten by a man in very expensive clothes. He's screaming at the child, hitting it for emphasis after every sentence. You find yourself in someone's house. You can hear an argument between a boy and a man, perhaps his father. Then you're on the road. It's cold and dark, and you feel overwhelming hunger. Then you're in somebody's home. The boy's father is apologizing on his knees to the man in expensive clothes. The boy stands nearby, crying. You see a teenager being trained in combat by a knight. You feel the joy and confidence in the air. Then you see the knight's wife being abused by the man in expensive clothes. You observe an argument with the knight. You're thrown out the door. You stand over a corpse with a sword in your hand. It's the corpse of the man with expensive clothes. People rush into the room and you're carried away. Everyone is screaming and clamoring. You're in a cell, arguing about something with the knight. The vision disappears as quickly as it materialized.
That was... You saw that, didn't you?
You have such a nice voice.
Soft.
Did you understand what you saw?
He laughs, but there's a trace of sadness in his laugh.
This lord was my father. I killed him. But what can I say? He deserved it.
Holy hell.
Thank you for helping me. And please, send my regards to my friend. I won't be seeing him. But why am I not surprised that he is still out there fighting? I've spent my entire life fighting. Mostly a never-ending fight to survive. Just to be myself. He, on the other hand, always fought because he had no idea what to do with his life. From what you were saying, it seems, and I don't want to fight anymore.
You feel there's something left unsaid.
I think I'm starting to remember. Something. It's not clear just yet. I've realized that there's one last thing you need to do.
He smiles sadly, with a faraway look in his eyes.
The goat informed me that I need to help you to rebuild our home. And something tells me we need to do one more thing for that to happen. It feels like it's a blueprint for things to come. Something that needs to be done now, so that people in the future, if there even is a future, can reach out and remember. We need to secure our village against the weirdness. Our Menhir is fading, as all of the Menhirs on this island will. Their powers will soon be lost, and then all of our efforts to make this island our home will have been pointless. But somehow I recall from other times that there was this one place. A lost library filled with books of long-forgotten wisdom. Nobody remembers who wrote them, and very few people know how to read them. Find the library. There, find the book containing the Menhir rites. Within the weirdness, that's where everything that's ever been lost can ultimately be found. I just hope you can make it in time, before the Menhir's power fades. Go now. There's no time.
Okay. The Fall of Avalon. I helped Colin.
You tell the tale of what you went through in order to help his friend. And then...
So, now you know.
The armed wanderer sobs once. His gaze grows misty, but he quickly pretends to have something caught in his eye.
I tried telling people. I begged him to tell the truth. He never did, and nobody believed me. Everyone thought I was trying to take the fall for what he did. I would have done that, mind you, if only I'd had the chance. But he knew I would have killed the bastard the first chance I got, so he didn't let me. That's true. And now, if you're telling me he doesn't want to see me again, I've lost him too. At least I know he's alive, and you've given him back his peace of mind. That's more than I ever. Thank you, friend.
Coalescing within the weirdness. From a distance, it looks like a trembling stone, no higher than your knee. Approaching this strange phenomenon, you can't help but feel the weird. Then you realize that it isn't a monster. It's just a human girl. She's grimy with dirt and sweat, and her eyes are full of tears. She seems to be terrified of her surroundings. She clambers to her feet as soon as she sees you. She points to the right with one trembling hand. Her eyes pierce you with a stare that feels like 1,000 tiny needles.
Creepy. Time. What's outside of the dream? I believe the void. Okay. Ouch. So you're gonna take more. A wise warrior choose. Either the helmet or the armor.
She disappears. Yet as you walk further, you slowly realize that the majestic trees around you seems like an abandoned corridor in a building that must have been made for giants. The air is stifling. As you struggle to breathe, eerie noises begin to spread all around you.
We found it.
Wait, was that the sound of a page turning? Definitely. You hear the velvety rasp of a page being turned, and you're transported somewhere, and now you see it. A beast which must have been human once. It's reading dozens of books at the same time with dozens of monstrous eyes. One of these eyes fixes a beady gaze upon you.
Another bookworm, eh? Glad you found your way here.
Is this the library?
That sounds like the florist.
Told you about?
Any book you are particularly interested in? This one? Are you sure?
The monster shows you a stone-grey grimoire etched with strange markings.
Even I can't read this one. So you have your book, and since you answered all the girl's questions, you still have 2 wishes to spare.
What?
One will be obvious. Here you go. And the last one, you can And since we won't meet again, a deal is a deal. Here. Now leave me alone. Go and save the world, if you please.
I will need a noose.
Go back to my books.
I don't know how I will need this, but I will need a noose. Found the library.
You did it. You found the Minorites. Now there's only... Somehow I know. There's an elderly man out there. He goes by the name of Orin. Or Merlin. Were they even born yet? Either one of them. I can sense them within the weirdness. I can hear one of them whispering to me. They'll be able to translate the Minorites.
Wait a second.
Weirdness, you hear a voice.
I knew you would come.
Pale blue eyes pierce your soul.
We found
the
him.
Eyes are terrifying, yet when the silhouette of the man they belong to appears, you're suddenly not afraid anymore. He's an elderly man, leaning all his weight on a walking stick.
No, he's gone, and he'll never return. This is not the time for us to talk. So be it. Safe travels. Ah, so it is time for us to talk after all. Now, give me what I need to see. Yes. I've wanted to lay my hands on this beauty for a long time.
He takes the book in his wrinkled hands, stroking the cover with the utmost respect. Then he rifles through the pages, mumbling to himself.
Of course.
He starts muttering under his breath.
The key is the union between light and darkness. Your Minher represents the darkness. It was a place of worship for those who cherished death and rebirth. A minor sect of the Four Dwellers, yet quite powerful. Then, where humans came with our own goddess, the Lady of Life, and also rebirth, the All-Mother. And we worshipped her all across the land. I see. You need blood. Sacrifice yourself to the Minir. Get to the state between life and death, and then something will happen.
The noose!
Clear what? keep the book as a token of your gratitude for my translation. There is nothing else there that you would find useful. I need to go.
That's why it gave us the noose. I asked for something I don't know yet I'm gonna need, and it gave me a noose. I need to hang myself next to the menhir. At home. No. Then...
Knowing that you can't die and that you'll be reborn, you cut deep into your flesh in the hope that your sacrifice will at least save this village and its people from the weirdness. Or, if all of your efforts are in vain, because corruption will eventually destroy this world, maybe at least you'll make sure that your friends end up a little bit happier. You feel cold. Then suddenly you hear a voice.
Oh, I see.
What marvelous work you do here. I'm truly impressed.
Death appears in front of you.
That's exactly what we needed. The things you do here, you see, they help to establish certain parts of the narrative. They're blueprints for how certain things will unfold in the past and in the future. Your original body and mind came here on one of the first ships that reached this island. But let's say you're blacksmith. In your calendar, he won't be born for at least another 400 years. But your work here, well, it will allow him to have a happy ending in his own timeline. Your deeds here make all the difference. Saving people from this corrupted reality and helping them here allows the rest of the world to function. It's too bad that you're stuck here until all of the people here are saved from this reality's corruption.
You're pretty sure Death just laughed.
But it's time to give your friend, the lost soul, his identity back. Don't you think? Treat him well. For his is the greatest mind ever to grace Avalon.
What?
If Death had a face, it would look at you with parental condescension.
No.
You're left alone, back at the feet of the men here.
So we still live. Lost soul, tell me.
Hello, my friend.
It's strange. He looks the same, yet his eyes have changed. And so has his voice.
I told you we'd meet again. Yes, the last time I was nothing but a memory, wandering between planes of this corrupted reality. But it looks like somebody has given me a new body, and a much younger one than I had before. Or than I'm going to have in the future.
For the first time since you met the lost soul, he smiles broadly.
Thank you. It's the most amazing gift you could have given me. I have my youth back.
Nice.
Well, now, Death must have already told you that your goal is to save everyone in this reality, just like you did with us here in the village. It won't be easy. It will take time, but we're going to help you any way we can. That's a promise.
Do you have any new upgrades? No. But does that mean that we've saved everyone? Yes! Yes! We've saved everyone. That means that in the next run, if we go for the Menhir boss and survive him, then we have finished the game. And you know what? I'm gonna finish this run right now and right here, so we can head on to the next part. starvation and other things. Okay, yeah, we've got the soul saved, we've got the villagers saved. I think you need the true ending.
You're in the void.
What?
However, this time you realize that you finally fulfilled all of your tasks. You close your eyes and hear a familiar voice.
So, we meet again. How do you feel now that you've accomplished everything I asked of you?
Oh, so like the game maker is asking me, I'm happy.
I assume that's good. You did something that not too many souls would ever be capable of. The sheer determination it took to get this far is something to be applauded.
Thank you, game. Thank
No
you.
matter what the naysayers might think or say, getting this far is something to be proud of.
I actually feel proud.
What is it? Do you think that everyone wanted or needed your help? Some weren't ready. Those who were, however, benefited greatly from your act. Some people you met weren't placed there for you to save. They simply weren't a part of you. Not everyone can be equally important. And, crucially, you can't be equally important to all.
Okay.
I told you before that stories need structure. And the stories your kind tells itself are very peculiar. This story was supposed to be about you being stuck in an endless loop, fighting the Prince of the Four Dwellers over and over again until the end of time. It was supposed to be a story about repetition, cycles without end, and following pointless objectives that can never be obtained. Your human stories are about heroes beating evil. This was one of these stories. But you dug deeper. The goat helped you to summon a tougher enemy. With that, we move to, let's say, a more symbolic part of this story. You humans never look for context in the stories you hear and tell. Heroes beat evil monsters. Revolutions beat evil kings. And that's it. You never ask the proper questions. What happens the day after the revolution? What caused the monster to become evil in the first place? And could that have been prevented? Your struggle against that foe was merely a symbol of digging deeper into the cause. And once you managed to beat the monster, then you were given your true task. Saving the people you met from the corruption of this reality. This question, in all of its possible forms, is the one I hear from your kind most often. There's something about humans, always searching desperately for points, meanings, and lessons. You look for them everywhere. That is, everywhere except the one place you should be looking. Inside yourselves. And the greatest joke of fate? There's really no inherent meaning in anything you choose to do with your lives. The closest you can get is to simply decide what things mean for yourself. But did you notice a common theme in the stories of the people you met and saved? Did you realize what this world was meant to be? Purgatory would require an external system of values.
something all of those people should have followed, limbo would be pointless and cruel. Who would waste their time and energy to create such a thing? It was hell. More accurately, it was a lot of different hells all merged into one. Hellish places, created by these people for themselves and only for themselves. Hellish places created by people who didn't have enough love for themselves in their hearts. People who couldn't forgive themselves. What you gave them was your time and your empathy. You listened to their stories and helped them to find inner peace. Without that, they would have been stuck in their own personal hells for all eternity. Exhausted, sad, and tormented by nobody but themselves. Good.
You notice that the empty space around you is brightening a little.
It's up to you alone. This world was created from conflict, war, misunderstandings, greed, and all of the negative feelings your kind like to grasp so tightly in their hearts. This particular place won't cease to exist. Your world was broken and your reality corrupted. This place was made in order to remind you of this, and to show a tiny fraction of the consequences that certain actions might have. However, the memories of how you struggled in order to help all of these people will also become part of this world, along with their gratitude. This place is no longer a dead world full of sorrow and pain. It's a world that you cleansed of corruption. It's a world that shouldn't scare you anymore. A world that holds no secrets from you. You can return whenever you want. It's yours now. A place that you, and you alone, made better through the sheer force of your will. That counts for something, doesn't it?
The voice becomes weaker and weaker. It fades completely until you're left alone in the gradually brightening darkness.
That feels like breaking the fourth wall in the most roleplay way I can imagine. This was amazing.